His Holiness Janab Sayyid Shah Muhammad Al Husseini Sahib, because of whose outstanding efforts and mission we are all here under one banner and realizing his dream today. Khaja Education Society, the parent of Khaja Bandanawaz University, was established in the year 1958 by late Padma Shri His Holiness Janab Sayyid Shah Muhammad Al Husseini Sahib. Presently, this youth society has 24 plus educational institutions comprising of primary, secondary, and higher education. Initially created to nurture the hopes and aspirations of Muslim community, however, its philanthropic approach and compassion for the underprivileged sections of the humanity has enabled it to provide path-breaking service since its inception. The society has been working for the upliftment of all, irrespective of caste, creed, and religion. The Khaja Bandanawaz University was established in the year 2018 under the vision of Honorable Dr. Sayyid Shah Khusro Husseini Sahib, the first Chancellor of the university. The Khaja Bandanawaz University has an absolutely young and dynamic leader, Honorable Pro-Chancellor Mr. Sayyid Muhammad Ali Al Husseini Sahib, whose vibrant and futuristic thinking shall take this university to greater heights. I also would like to thank Dr. Usar Fatima Ma'am, Dean of Khaja Bandanawaz University's Faculty of Engineering and Technology, and her team for organizing this educational webinar. Khaja Bandanawaz University offers undergraduate, master's, and PhD degrees in various disciplines. The creativity to imagine, knowledge to design, drive to innovate, and industry partnerships are the focus to prosperity and wisdom of our university. Today, I'm immensely delighted to welcome and introduce respected sir for today's webinar, Mahmood Ashraf sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mahmood Ashraf sir is an engineering and management professional. He's a dynamic and competent engineering and management professionals having over more than 3 decades of experience with international influence. With his immaculate skills in business strategy planning and execution, with a proven record of establishing organizations globally, contributing to the engineering and R&D centers, thriving with business excellence with full profit and loss accountability. He is also a member of Global Engineering Strategy Team. He has handled 4 expansion and facilitated 2 mergers and 1 divestment. He has received several acknowledgements for engineering cost reduction planning and implementation. He is a change agent known for quick execution in complex situations, especially integrating global engineering teams, identifying and networking engineering product specialist individuals and team for better, quick return to customer metric, and knowledge disbursement. He has also established largest engineering teams serving Japan, China, Korea, Australia, Germany, France, United Kingdom, and the United States of America. He has established global procurement teams in India to source resource components for European Union and United States programs. He has also established application engineering front office for Indian customers. He has also established product development teams, including innovation team in India with global contributions. He is a mechanical engineer from Bangalore Institute of Technology and postgraduate diploma in business administration. He has served the corporate world for more than 3 decades with the start of his career in 1989 in Hindustan Aeronautic Limited's aerospace division as a trainee, where he worked for a year. He has also worked in Advanced Synergic Microsystems for 6.5 years as a manager for engineering. He then joined Arvind Meritor in 1997 as a managing director in Technical and Shared Services Center, and he worked there for a period of 9 years. And then Faurecia Bangalore Technical Center, India for 9 years, and Element 6 Technologies Private Limited, and he's a founder and managing director from past 6 years. I would like to also give you some instructions from the presenter of today's webinar. He wants you to be with him 100%. Be quick to write points if you only think these points are necessary, and you can also use the chat box to share answers to questions asked. And try to be assertive and try to be quick, and please mute your microphones. And I would like to also mention you that all your questions will be addressed at the completion of this presentation. So before we go ahead and hand over today's presentation to Mahmood Ashraf sir, here I would like to also point out what's in it for you in today's webinar. So he will definitely put some light, shed some light on being mindful of who you are and what you are up to. He is also going to explain you about relativity of engineers to the planet. He's also going to discuss about the job market experience about the graduated engineers and what defines an engineer, a degree, or is it more than that? And what the corporate world is look for in us for employment, and how to focus on competencies to increase employability. So today, this webinar, I hope, shall inspire and motivate us to live our future better. So I would like to conclude by thanking and wishing you all to have a great evening ahead. I request Mr. Mahmood Ashraf sir to take over this session from now. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patience in listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ali. It's been such a privilege for me to participate in today's session. You all can see my screen now?
Yes, sir. We are able to see. Please go ahead.
Excellent. Excellent. So before I start, I start in the name of God, the most beneficent, the merciful. I also start with a prayer saying, God, give me the wisdom to speak the truth and all that which is beneficial for all of us to follow, and help me refrain from those things that are not beneficial and those things that are untruthful for all of us. Okay. I mean, it's a privilege for me to be a part of this divine session. I always consider that a session that gives knowledge is an opportunity for people, and it is only people who choose to be here are here. Though the invitations have gone to maybe about 400, 500 people, but you see there are only a handful of people who are here, and this audience is the chosen people to be participating into this session. So on behalf of Element 6 Technologies and the entire management and staff, I thank the moderator for giving the welcome for me, the entire management of KGM, which has given me this honor and the privilege to be a part of this initiative, and also my mentor and a coach, Mr. Jilani, to have connected me to this esteemed organization. So it is my honor, my privilege to be a part of this session. Apart from the introduction that you've heard from Mr. Ali, I want to share one aspect of my career which is important for you to realize, and the reason why I'm here today. I have been a part of recruitment team for creating careers of about 1,000 people in my life, in my 31 years of contribution. So what I'm sharing with you today is with a lot of commitment, a lot of experience, and a lot of authority. I'm responsible for everything that I'm going to utter to you today. I'm responsible for every aspect of my message to all of you today in the audience. Okay, and whatever I'm saying, it is out of my conscious and my experience. So this is an important aspect of my connectivity to this group of people today. Okay, some of these points have already been shared with you by Mr. Ali. I would like to insist on a couple of things which are important that you see on the screen. You got to be with me 100%. Okay, writing notes may be okay, but I tell you that just being present and listening to me is enough. Okay, if you have to write down something very quickly, you need to quickly get back to me because you could miss certain links which are important for you. And please contribute and share in the chat box with the questions I'm going to ask you, and be very assertive and quick. And one thing important for the entire audience is never think that the question is a big question or a small question or an easy question or a difficult question. A question is simple a question. So don't sit on this because it could be dangerous for you. It could be negative for you. So if you have a question that comes in your mind, please put it in the chat box, and we'll try to answer it as much as we can. Obviously, mute your microphones, and you'll have a Q&A sessions in the end. I want to start by actually turning your attention to some laws of nature, which we tend to ignore, or we know it, but we don't realize it. This is normally what happens. And we think that when the laws are there, it is either physics, chemistry, or something else, okay? But these are some laws that we as human beings experience in our environment, okay? And one of the laws says that we attract all those things in our life, okay? And what is the basis of what the attraction is that we have a certain need and a want in our life, and everybody has it. Not everybody who has a need and a want get that into their life. There's something very important to understand, that who we are in the inside really matters for that item, that event, that situation to come to our life. I hope you've got that. See, the attraction factor is not about our needs and wants, our desires. It is not about that. What is important is who we are in the inside. What is our operating system? What are our thoughts from the inside? Those things really matter for us to get whatever that we are getting into our life. And on this planet, there are no accidents and there are no coincidences. It is all a matter of who we are from the inside, and the incidents are coming to our life. Have you heard about something that that people say, that birds of the same feather flock together? Okay, you show me your friends, I will tell you who you are. Okay, so these things are correlating to what I've just mentioned to you, that who we are is more important than what we want and what we need. So today's session, I'm going to flow through this very important aspect so that the better things in your life, like a job, like a corporate opportunity, comes into your life. So what I'm talking to you is the foundation. I want you to be with me as I go ahead. Okay. By changing our thoughts, we change our life. And when we change the way we look at life, the way we look at life changes. Okay. So it is the inside of ours that really matters for the events and the situations that we experience in our life. And like I told you, there are no coincidences, no accidents. They are all a part of the plan, and we are attracting the people, the situations, and everything into our life like we want. So to look at it, what we are inside is very important than what we are the outside. What we say is not important, but what we think and feel is very, very important. So this is a law of nature. It will work. It will never fail for anybody as long as we are on this planet. Now look at the law and what is the reality. Our relativity to our source relationship. You know, many of you would have heard this words of source relationship for the first time. Okay. Anybody who can share on the chat box, what do you think is the first source of our existence on the planet? Anybody? Somebody said, Mustafa says money, parents, oxygen, food. What is the source of you existing on the planet? How were you born on this planet for the first time? Who is the source? The first source without which your creation was not possible at all. Okay, Mother, God Almighty, Allah, life. Yeah, absolutely. Some of you have really got it. The first source is God Almighty. Irrespective of what you name, whether you name Brahma or Allah or God, whatever, that's the first source. Without that entity existing, your parents would not exist. And when they don't exist, you don't exist. So that's the first source. The first source is God Almighty. Okay. Who's the next source? Anybody? Absolutely. People got it. Prakash says parents, Shima parents, Hemlata parents. Absolutely. Without parents, we don't exist. So the first source is God Almighty. The second source is our parents. Without the parents, we don't exist. The reason that you are living today, wherever you are, whatever you are today, is because of these sources who have blessed you to be who you are today. Okay. When I say source relationship, these are relationship actually giving you an identity. You need to get that very clear. You are a human being as a creation because God created you as a human being. God created us as a human being. Okay. That's the first identity. The second identity, you're a son or a daughter today because the parents existed. Okay. That is important. You're a son or a daughter. And then we have other identities that we create. You're a sister because the brother exists. You are a brother because the sister exists. You are a nephew because aunt and uncle exists. So there are other sources, but I'm not going into that topic at all. I'm just touching about certain things which are beneficial for this seminar and this workshop. Okay. So we know that there are two sources. And I want to turn the attention of you to another important source in our life that we pick up the moment we get into our education stream. We go to a kindergarten, we have our teachers over there. The teachers who imbibe knowledge into us, they share education, they share their support, they care for our progress, they give us certain important values through the education. And we pick up identities at every stage for us. We are either in the kindergarten, we are in the primary, we are in the middle school, we are in the high school, we are in the university, and we are in the college. Every aspect of our progression, we create an identity for ourselves. You are engineers because you are a part of the engineering institution today. And there are a whole lot of lecturers who are actually supporting you become a successful engineer as you go ahead. And Ikram says the teachers are the second parents. Absolutely. Because 8 hours of your time is either in an institute, 8 hours at home, and you sleep for 8 hours. Okay. So absolutely, you said it. The teachers are the second parents. They are foster parents for us. Okay. The moment you leave home and you are in the institution, you are in the hands of some very important people in the life. Why I say very important, it's just not the knowledge that you get from them, but these are the most extraordinary people that you will get, that I will get, that anybody will get. Every career that has grown today to whatever limit has been touched and blessed by a teacher at some level or the other. I hope you all agree with this. And the most important aspect I'm going to share with you is that today, you are graduating out of college. You are going to be an engineer to the planet. And after about few years, maybe about 5, 6 years, you grow in your career. You become a manager of a department. You're a CEO, you're a vice president. You are a director of an organization, maybe. And you want to come back to KGN to see, how things are. And let me tell you the experience that I had when I went back to my college after I started the company. I wanted to make a difference to the college that I came out from. So I went to the college, and it was almost about 25, 26 years that I've graduated, and I didn't ever have my beard at that moment of time. When I entered the mechanical block, there is a pathway that I took, and left side of the building has been the same that we ever had, and the right side is a total new building with another infrastructure that has come up. As I'm walking through, I'm with the coat, tie, everything, and the way I'm looking at today, I looked the same at that time. And I'm walking through, I saw two people coming out, pretty aged, with white hair, etc. They're just walking across. And the moment they saw me, they stopped. And he said, hey, student, nam student alla nino? He said in Kannada. He said, you are my student, correct? He asked me. I was surprised. I said, I did not, identify him. He said, you're a student. And I said, sir, I did not recognize you. Guru, workshop alle. He said, he was the attender in the workshop. And that person identified me. And you know what he said? He said, you're the guy who actually used to wear mega sleeves. I was doing a lot of bodybuilding at that moment of time. And, I used to wear a mega sleeves and I used to go to Smithy with that hammer stuff, So he recognizes me. What happened in 89 and before. And then he came with me to the staff room mechanical. I met my my lecturer at that moment for control systems. Now he's the head of the department. The moment he saw me, Mahmood, extraordinary. I was surprised. He took me to his staff room and said, he's a managing director of the company. He's my student. The amount of happiness that came, that I experienced was phenomenal. These are extraordinary people. They never think where we are today and where is my student. What is his pay? What is my salary today? What is his salary? What is my title today? What is his title? The amount of pride they displayed, extraordinary. Okay. Now, whoever we are as students in the education institution, wherever, we need to start looking at this source relationship that is very divine, very extraordinary. Never ever disrespect them. Any disrespect to this source relationship, we are going to have trouble in our career. That is written off. Please take note of it. These are extraordinary and divine group of people that you'll ever get in your career. Okay. Wherever you are, respect them, acknowledge them, appreciate them. The distance you will keep between the source relationship and you, the greater is the distance between you and your success. It will be multiple times bigger. Take this as an important instruction from me. Don't ignore what I'm telling you. This is coming out of my commitment, my experience, and my own life path that I've seen. I've seen people too that have made a difference to a lot of people in the future because they have connected to the source in a very, very different way. So don't keep a distance between you and the source relationship. Any distance is going to distort the connection between you and the future. Understood? I want to take you through a very important aspect of what our reality is. Okay. Now, how we are related to our institution and our studies. This is very important for us to understand. I'm sure that you will get whatever it is. I'm a person who have interacted with a lot of colleges, done a lot of faculty development, interacted with thousands of students, gone and done seminars and workshops from the organization in different colleges in Bangalore. So what I'm sharing with you is some information which I have experienced myself. Okay, and I have continued to see the experiences of people in my life. The reality is that we are very, very disconnected to our own career in the level of college. Okay, what we do, we take up our career or any course, whether it's a management course or an engineering course or any course, as an obligation. We actually don't engage into it. We actually take it as an automated pathway. So I finished my pre-university, I need to get on to the next. So what do? I take up some engineering course or a management course or a commerce course or whatever that I want to take up. So it is taken as an obligation. It is sort of a burden. I have to do it somehow, let me do it. So engagement is not there. Okay. The other point is people look at a career progression, connecting that to money. How much money can I make? Kitna is scope? Is that a lot of scope? Will I get a job after that? This is what is driving you, not passion, not about your interest. Okay. This is all negative. I'm going to share with you what is important in the next messages I have for you. We are attendance oriented, correct? If you have 70% of attendance, you'll get a hall ticket. Okay, so you come to the college for attendance. Okay, there is a minimum attendance criteria. I want to achieve it. Always some people have a tally also. How much attendance, etc. There's no engagement. This is our reality. Okay. The workshops that we have, there also there is no connection to the subject. Many people just go to the workshop, they do it. The attender is going to help, in the lab, finish whatever is there, and then some people copy the records. There is no connection, no engagement. There is absolutely no connectivity to the subject. The subject matter is not important. It's not core for us at that moment of time. We are always doing everything for the mark sheet. We are not connecting our subject matter to application and learning. We don't learn the subject for application part. We are not application oriented people. What is this subject got to do with the practicality? Okay, how am I going to lead? How am I going to manage people on this? There's a management course, there is an engineering course, etc. There are so many subjects which are actually oriented towards a lot of theory, but never we think how I'm going to apply it in my future. How is it going to matter for me in my career? Is that the subject of my interest, etc.? So there's no connectivity that is there. We are always marks-driven people. We only look at what is important subjects, how many marks with this subject, how many marks. So if I get this much, this is enough. This is how we modulate our work in college, which is absolutely, pathetic for me. I'm going to share with you why this is important and what happens when we think differently, as in the coming slides. So the degree is more important for us while in college. The moment you get a degree, that's enough. I wanted the degree. Now it's, the world is open for me. I will get a job. That's sort of a mentality that we have. The reality is totally different, folks. The reality is totally different. The world outside is very ruthless and very, very competitive. It is meant for a people of a different metal altogether. Okay, so get this, that this is the entire environment. I'm not generalizing this, but to everybody, many people will be different. Please don't, pick me on what I'm saying. But, most people, not all, but most people have this sort of an approach towards their professional courses wherever they pick up. Okay, let's look differently. Okay, I want to turn your attention towards another law of nature, which again will work and it will never change. Okay, so there is a word called human being, right? We are all human beings. You know why we are human beings? Why we don't say animal beings? Anybody? Why this word being? Anybody? What do you understand by this word being, and how is it attached? Shima says sense of humor. Is it so? The word being. Why is it not animal being? Humans have brain. Perfect. Humans have brain. What does the brain do? Yeah, obviously, even the animals have brain, correct? And it is useful to them, right? Okay. Being human, feelings, yeah. what we have been created for, have a capacity to think, absolutely. Ethics, we think. Azam Kamal, we think, being teacher. Okay. Okay, let me tell you, some people have indicated are very close to the answer. In the creation of God Almighty, around us, the creation of human is the only creation that has the capacity to make a choice. No other creation makes choices. It is designed to do some things, it will do only those things. If the cow is dying of hunger, it will never eat bones, it will never eat meat. It will die of hunger rather than eating meat. Okay, so it's designed like that. Whereas a human being always make choices. Okay, and we make choices every moment of time. Moment by moment by moment by moment, we make choices. And because of this aspect of making choices at every moment of time, we get to be something, be something, be something, and present continuous becomes being. So a human being is because we have the virtue of making choices, and for every choices we be something. Okay, so the choices are characterization of we as human beings. It's given specially for us. And in this law that is you see on the screen is choices we make. We have the virtue of making choices. Okay, we can choose to do something or not do something. But whatever you choose to do, the consequences are fixed. They are divine and predefined. Consequences don't change. The law of gravity was created. Okay, we all understand law of gravity. What is the law of gravity? There's a pull from the earth, and anything you put from any height, there is an attraction factor, you fall down. Okay, that's the law, and it will work. It will never fail. You have to leave the planet Earth for the law not to work. As long as we stay on the planet Earth, the law will work. You choose to jump from the 7th floor, you're not going to go up. You're going to fall down, then possibly go up, but you will fall down for sure. Making a choice to jump or not is yours. I hope you all understand this. I hope you all understand. This is the law of nature that will work every time, everywhere, as long as you are on the planet. Okay. So go back to the previous slide, and the message that I gave you is we make choices. Either we are too studious, we respect where we are, we respect the time that the 4 years that we have, we picked up the knowledge base in such a way that really we makes a difference for our future. That's a choice. Reading for learning is a choice. Reading or studying only for marks, that's also a choice. After exams, people go celebrate. Okay, everything is done. I'm very happy about it. Okay, but when it comes to interviews, then the metal is tested. But that's a consequence of choice made. Okay, and you know how we see the consequences of choices? In the media. They say 80% engineers are unemployed. People don't have the competencies to be employable. Okay, there is a job crisis that has come, because there is lack of competency, lack of skills. Okay, we spend a lot on training programs. Every graduate trainee that we go and interview from there, we recruit somebody, we take them 2 years, we have to spend our money onto it. They don't come with competency and skills within the organization. It becomes difficult for us to manage things. I'm from the corporate world. I've built organizations, so I know how much it takes to actually coach one graduate to make him productive. Okay, when we give out an advertisement, we get 2,000 plus applications. Okay, and then it takes about a few weeks to shortlist that, and in 1 week we have walk-ins every weekends, and we interview about 200 plus of those, we will struggle to select about 4 or 5 because a lot of things lack. So you see the choices we make, and there is a lack in the entire system. India is full of colleges, engineers, lakhs of engineers come out, but employability, not there. You see these statements come in the media. One of the major problems facing the fresh graduates is the insufficient understanding of basic concepts. And this is my experience too. Basic concepts are not there at all. We struggle to find people who know the fundamentals. It's important. Okay, how we look at what is available for us and how we go ahead doing things. Okay, so when the opportunity is there, you need to dive deep into the subject. Be as closer that you can with the department people. Ask questions. When you work and when you get stuck up somewhere, only then you will ask questions. Look at doing your best as much as you can, because the effect is always visible and people struggle. What do we do? Jobs are not there. This didn't happen, didn't happen, etc. There is a lot of failure that we experience. Okay, and from the corporate side, a lot of things we experience. We struggle to get the right talent on board. Okay, the jobs are available. This is the message that everybody need to have. The jobs are available for people who are competent. It is not that the jobs are not there. Any corporate would like to optimize cost. They want people to come fresh from the college, new blood, new mindset. We want them in the system. But we don't find that. Okay, a lot of hard work goes into coaching people who are fresh from the college. So please bear in mind that this is an important aspect of life itself. Now, from our perspective, we always have 2 things in mind. There are a lot of people who desire a lot of things. Okay, what is the difference between desiring something and deserving something? I want to share something with you. Desiring and deserving are 2 different domains. Okay, and we as students who are in whatever stage of your studying world, we have a lot of desires. You want to achieve certain things. Job should be like this. Lifestyle should be like that. This is what I want to do for my parents. There's so much of desire which is there in people's mind. And desires will be there in a lot of other people also. You ask a beggar on the street, he is full of desires. He would also want to have a good house, a good, square meal a day, a nice vehicle, etc. You go ask him. There's a lot of desires. But then the nature handles the desiring and the deserving different. When you go on in your car and you stop near the red signal, the traffic signal, what happens? There'll be somebody who's coming and begging, right? So if a person who's drunk and he comes and begs, do you think you will be willing to help him? Give money? You'll think that you give money, he will go and drink. So you don't think that guy is deserving. And many people have many correlations. And we always swing between that person desiring that you pay him and you thinking that he doesn't deserve it. Okay. So these aspects have to be understood. So we have a lot of desires, but then the nature is going to handle it very differently. Desiring not equal to deserving. Okay. It's not. When desiring, I'm not saying desiring is wrong. Desiring is getting ready for deserving. But then you have to shift yourself from one domain to another, which is very significant. Very significant. Okay. And all rewards, all achievements are in the deserving domain. It's in the deserving domain. So we need to shift from desiring to deserving with a lot of effort, with a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of hard work to shift from there to there, because desiring is in the head mode. It is still in the head. Deserving is in the action domain. You are in action. You are out to achieve something, and people will see that. They will know you, and they want you to be a part of their team, their organization. So shifting from desiring to deserving is very, very critical. Okay, I hope you understood that. Yes, it's also perseverance. Without perseverance, it doesn't. Ali says, it's perseverance. Absolutely. Desiring to deserving is not an easy journey. It doesn't have it's not automatic. It's a lot of patience and perseverance and a lot of commitment that you need to give to yourself, your own career, which is very important. Okay. If we don't show commitment and loyalty to our own career, who will do that? And it is we who are going to have the journey between desiring and deserving, which is very critical. I want to differentiate something very important. And we use these words knowledge and education into the same context. This is also a criteria which in the corporate world we experience. When you seek a job and you get inside and you try to get inside, it is you desire to get inside. But there is a gap between what exactly the corporate is looking at. Okay. But one of the aspect is the knowledge and education part. Can you differentiate to me what knowledge is and what is education? Anybody in the chat box? Education refers to degree. Prakash. Systematic process. Hemlata. Knowledge is information we acquire. Perfect. Ejaz. Perfect. Knowledge is information. That's right. What is education then? Knowledge is power. Agree. What is education? Education is degree piece of paper. Education is formal and knowledge is informal. Okay. Education is discipline. Knowledge, what we have, but education is what we have to learn. Okay. Srinivas. Education is knowledge. Knowledge is experience. Education is academic. Okay, thank you for your answers. I want to clarify that. Okay, and I want to give you an example to also differentiate what this is. Somebody said knowledge is information. Perfect. And what are the sources of knowledge? Is the book. It's the institute that gives the knowledge to you, passes the information. The teacher who gives lecture, the subject matter, etc., and we gain knowledge. Education is different. These cannot be collapsed. The domains are different. Information domain is different. Education domain is different. Listen to me very carefully. Knowledge in action is education. Knowledge in action is education. You pick up a knowledge, you look at how you can apply it, put it in action. It's education. How many of us know that we have to stop in the traffic light when it is red? We all know that, right? The knowledge and the information is there with us. But do we stop? For us, when there is a street light and it is red, we also see for a cop, just not a simple cop. He has to be an inspector. Only then it is red. So it is red plus inspector to stop. Is that calling us for educated people? We have the knowledge, right? but we don't put it in action. We disrespect the traffic lights so much. Likewise, we disrespect the guidelines of the college, the institution so much. Knowingly, we violate. Okay, so we could be knowledgeable people. We know the information, but we're not educated enough. Okay, so we need to ask a question to ourselves. Now, am I knowledgeable or am I educated in every aspect of life? Look at every subject that you are going through. Are you just gaining knowledge or you are putting that to work? And what the corporate wants is how much of that knowledge you have gained, you think you have put to work or you are going to put to work. What are the areas you think that knowledge is applicable? We miss the bus big way in here. Okay, I want to share with you something here, and this is the crux of everything, the slide. So be with me and participate here. So the question is, what do you think is important for you to land in a good job? Or what do you think the corporate is looking at you to give you an employment? What is the number one important? What is number one important? Skill, experience. Oh, but you just finished college. How can experience matter? Knowledge, practical knowledge. What is the first thing? What qualifies for you to apply for a job? Okay, let me be clear. What qualifies for you to apply for a job? Skills which will fill requirements to the firm. Okay, there's a job, yeah. And if you have the skills, yes, for sure. But before skills, what is important? Number one, that qualifies for you to get into a job. Yeah, somebody said something. Asma Parveen, degree. So your qualification, your engineering degree or your MBA or the moment you have graduated and the job is calling for a graduate, whatever, engineer or MBA with the people with MBA degree or a commerce degree or arts degree, whatever. That is very important. And with that will be your cumulative record. They want to understand how you have fared, how serious you were in the performance in the college. How serious were you? Okay, the cumulative record is important. This is something that I'm telling you from the employer's perspective, because this is what we have seen. And I know my colleagues in different companies would see the same thing. Okay, qualification number one. And who gives this? Is the college, the institution, right? We pick up the degree. So it gives you that. What is second most important? What is second most important? Communication skills, etc. Okay, let me go ahead. The concept and fundas, which are very important. How solid you are in the basics of your degree, in your education. How solid are you in the basics? How much clear is your understanding? The moment there's clarity, you will also know application. So they will like to gauge you. Okay, how good you are in your communication, etc. Your interview etiquettes. All these things are very important. All right. So they look at fundamentals, and where the fundamentals you actually pick up from is your college. Again, everything from there. How you have caught up with the fundamentals of engineering, fundamentals of management, fundamentals of your maths, etc. Okay, your accountancy, your economics, etc. So they are looking at what is the crux and the core that you have. Are you clear with it? This is the number two important area. Number three, I'm actually using the slide from the engineering perspective. You can apply that to any degree. The audience could be anybody. Okay. Instead of engineering, it can be anything. Here, we look about application of what you've learned, how you apply, which area of engineering you are coming out with, how do you apply these subjects into that in the future? How are you valuable in terms of applying what you've learned in bettering the product of my organization, which is very dear to me? I look at that. Okay. The domain know-how. Many people don't even approach this aspect where when you go to an interview, you look at what the company is, what is the product, which domain is that, automotive, aerospace, or anything else, it's biomedical. So what is your knowledge base? We don't even prepare towards it, okay, which is very, very critical for us to do that. People look at not knowing the entire process, not knowing the design process or anything like that. They are looking at how much you know about my product that you want to be better at with your coming in the organization, etc. What are you bringing into it about my product? Do you actually know my product? Where the product is applied? Do you know that? People don't know about it. They just walk in the opportunity and they lose the opportunity because they are not prepared at all. The fifth point is they look at your aptitude to designing a product. It can be an electronics PCB or whatever that is, that you talk from the engineering perspective, and you have absolutely no knowledge about the testing process. Okay, so not knowing the product is one side. The aptitude of knowing it and implementing it and making it better is also not there. So these are all connected stuff which are very, very significant, and these are the skills that we need to pick up. Okay, college can do certain things to a certain limit, but there are other opportunities that you can look at how you can implement that in the future. Okay, then comes your tool specialization. How much you are specialized with the tool. There are a lot of tools in terms of design, whether you take a mechanical engineering or electronics domain. There are a lot of tools that we have. People go do a course outside, but they do a course just to know what the tool is. They don't do it to the level of specialization. And what happens is the corporate has to spend a lot towards coaching and mentoring people towards this being a specialization. And today, especially in the pandemic era, the post-pandemic era, there are a lot of challenges for fresh engineers that will come in. And this lockdown period or the slowdown period is the best time that you actually can pick up to learn and be a specialist in a certain domain, whatever domain is of your interest. Every domain has its own scope. The thing is that domain is hungry for people who are specialists. They are hungry for it. Whatever level that you are, I'm not talking about a very experienced engineer specialist. We are talking about wherever you are as a fresh engineer, how much core you have that we can take you inside, and from there you can develop yourself. There is an attitude difference in people, because over the years, from the pre-university to the degree to the engineering degree or whatever degree that you have, we have a certain attitude towards the entire institution, the system in the institution, the subject matter, the curriculum, etc. The attitude is only towards mark sheet. Your learning is not for implementation. This is a big gap that we have. So wherever you are, whichever of stage of engineering you are, or whatever studies that you're doing, take it seriously. Because from the corporate perspective, these are important things that are significant. Okay. Now I have a couple of other slides that which get into the engineering part of it, or it can be also looked at in the generalist context. Okay, the market is looking for people who are innovative people. They are actually thinkers, because whatever exists in the physical form today has been an idea in the mind of somebody. It has been in the spiritual world. The person has been thinking about it, and he works in such a way that the thoughts become things. Always. Thoughts become things. So the more you think about certain things to happen, you will see that the doors of what will exist open up for you. Okay. So an engineer, I'm talking about this in the engineering context, that all engineers are design thinkers. Okay. They look at what difference they make to the, what difference can I make to the society. They are very human centric and environment centric. Everything there, the thought process is to better the experience of the human being and the environment that they live in. Okay. This is how come, whether it's automotive or anything like that, people talk about conveniences, removing pain points, getting people towards a pleasurable experience in their life. So this is where people modulate every of their effort. They try to visualize the thought that comes. They actually see a perception of how will it be when I implement that, when the new thing comes into existence. Okay. They are people who have a great strength in their perception. So when you are looking at anything in the subject matter, you look at application. So that is how you train your mind. Then you will train yourself to be a guy with a great perception. Whatever field of engineering, whether it's civil, architectural, or electronics, or IT, or mechanical, anything, the power of perception is very important. You can see something and you can say it can exist, and you work on it. So the visualization power is very critical. You look at multifunctionality. When I design something or develop something, how can it be used in multifaceted utility? This is very important. Always think multifunctional. The communication is very important, and this very few people give stress on communication. Communication is everything. For me, if you have good amount of communication, any conflict or any idea can be resolved. Okay. Communication is everything. The moment your thoughts come, you have to communicate with you, yourself, and you to the environment. Okay. How best you can convey that. In an interview, when we go and people ask questions, we don't realize what he's asking, why he's asking what he's asking. And we blabber. We might know the answer, but we will not communicate in the right way. Communication is an aspect. An engineer is a good communicator. He's also a good team player. Nothing has been achieved by one person. There's been a team and a group that has always got along to achieve something. So he's a good team player. People would like to work with him. There is a lot of participation, commitment, loyalty that we present, and we build a great relationship with people that we work with. Okay, these are important aspects of being a good engineer. Okay, we think everything in terms of features, how we can better it every time, what value we can add to the product that we have launched. So there's a continuous development cycle that we keep thinking. The moment something is manufactured or something is produced, we don't stop. We think, how can it be better? How the design can be better? How the material can be better, etc., etc. So these are some of the characteristics of a thinker, a mind that thinks always to create something new from nothing. Very quickly, I want to get through here. Again, this is for engineers that my slide is there. Whoever is a non-engineering background, look at what message that you can get out of this, because I have different varied audiences today. So for an engineer's perspective, I told you that people keep thinking, but then thinking and bringing everything to existence as a system is very important than just an individual product. When you design a component, the component, where is it going to get attached? What is the surrounding area the component. How is it going to matter in terms of durability, in terms of adding to the strength, etc., is very important. The way we see the system, the ability to see is very important, and then the adaptiveness, which is very critical, in which you are very quick to design using all the constraints that we have. Always there is not much of a freedom to design a certain things. When we designed the exhaust system for a Tata Nano, we had hardly any space to design. And Tata's instruction was, it should not sound like an auto, though the engine is like an auto engine. It should not be sounding like an auto, it should sound like a car. That was the constraint. So we as an organization and the team, we put everything into it, and it doesn't sound like an auto, but it is not sounding like a car. But from the constraints that we had and the type of engine that we had to do that as the best from the constraint that we had. Okay, and sometimes we are also ready for a trade-off. Okay, some things that we think are brilliant, but the organization says, no, we do only this and not do only that for now, and then it's the next stage. So, we don't conflict into it, but we look at ideas and put up a roadmap, and then we trade off certain things for now, and then implement the other things for the next. So there's a lot of thinking that goes into what an engineer is. And for me, an engineer is a set of character traits. He's not just a person. It's not a degree. It is a set of characters that a person displays in his behavior at every given situation. So for me, an engineer is a visionary person. He is very creative and innovative in every aspect. He keeps thinking to be better, to be different, etc. He's very proactive. Nobody gives him instructions. He goes out and does things for people. He interacts with different specialists who are experts and master experts. He is an analytical thinker. He keeps thinking, how this works, what material, what is the weight, etc., and puts his head and mind into the soul into what he does. He's a problem solver. Any problem that comes, no matter where it comes from, any challenge that comes, no matter where it comes from, he's solution oriented. He tries to solve those issues for the betterment of humanity and the environment. He is very strong in his engineering fundamentals. He's very detail oriented. He's a team worker. He's a person of integrity and ethics. He is a solid character. These are the type of people that are looked at in the corporate world. And I will tell you, these are the people who also grow very quickly. And situations like this, like for example, the pandemic, some people who are generalists have lost their jobs, but people who are specialists, experts, master experts still have the job, no matter what situation the company is. Okay. So, there is a pathway of we going through the entire education streamline, and there is an attitude that we display at every significant stage. We are a set of choices that we have made in the past and where we are today. It is not late for us to make new choices, complete with the past, and look for the future. What is available? The future is open for people who are talented and skilled, and having the competency that is required to get into a corporate job. Okay, who an engineer is a character, set of characters himself, not about a degree. Degree is just a qualification. Who you are is a person who is an innovator and a complex problem-solving entity for any organization or for the planet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. It was really great listening to you. And here we start taking questions. So I would request the audience to put your questions. You can put your questions on the chat box. So Mahmood sir is available to answer your questions. And while we take up the questions, I would like to say once again, it was really great listening to you, sir.
Thank you.
And I'm sure Mahmood sir will also agree with my thoughts. So what we are seeing these days is that corporates are looking for resources who are productive from day one or as early as possible. And I believe, as mentioned by Mahmood sir, the same can be fixed by filling the gap between the colleges and the corporate by having an industry academia kind of collaboration.
Absolutely. That's right. That's right.
So any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. And again, just to reiterate what Mahmood sir said, the founder of Alibaba Group, Jack Ma, he says that if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you should identify the issues faced by the masses and provide a solution to it.
Absolutely. Very true.
Any questions from the audience? Please go ahead. Mahmood sir is ready to answer your questions. We are ready to take it.
There is one question which has come to me privately by Faisal. He says, engineers also undergo anxiety. How to deal with it? I don't understand the reason why anxiety is there. The anxiety exists only when things are not addressed properly. Okay, who we are responsible people and accountable people. That's the expectation with the source, right? When they spend a lot of money, the parents spend a lot of money on us to get us into a streamline, whether it's doing an MBA or any course for that matter, an engineering program. There is a lot of investment of time and effort and money that is in the background. And when we get into the mainstream, we tend to not be very responsible as expected by the institution or the relationship we have at home. Okay, and we leave home, we come to the college, and what we do in the college may not be appropriate to our own career in the future. Okay, so anxiety comes in when things are left incomplete in the past. Okay, and we sometimes realize that, oh, this is too much to now complete. I have to read this, I have to read that. Suddenly, some people who have a lot of backlogs, they carry forward. Okay, and you would not share that with the home many a times, and you get into an entire world of anxiety and stress. One side you have to complete, the other side you have to fulfill the obligations. So it is an acquired issue for us. Look at how you can complete of what you have left incomplete in the past. That's how we need to overcome anxiety. Stress are acquired normally. Okay, there has been a lot of incompletion in the past which give you stress in the current. Okay, if it is unaddressed, then we have trouble and continued anxiety and stress in the future. So the solution is to talk to your experts, your structure which is there in the college, tell them, share with them, saying that this is what I did not do until now. What can I do to fulfill? There is a whole lot of structure waiting to help you in the way that you want. Okay, we have an access to it, but we don't make use of it. That's my answer for you.
Thank you so much, sir. Anybody else, please write your questions in the chat box. Please go ahead.
There is another question from a brother who says, sir, most of them say failure gives you best lessons, but how can we stay motivated to make it right and become successful? The wisdom here is to learn from the failures of other people. Then you yourself experiencing the failures yourself and learning out of it. Okay, so there are a whole lot of instructions that people will get. They have always said from school, study all the time. And we come 14, 15 years later and still not study. And we fail. And then we want to learn a lesson out of we failing. So how is it to learn from the others who have failed and not do those things that have led to their failure and rectify ourselves? I think wisdom is to look at the failures of other people and learning out of it before we experience failures in our life.
Yes, another question, please. While we take up another question, I would like to add, as mentioned by Mahmood sir during his presentation, that apart from your degree and qualification, what you need is also soft skills, communication, and interview etiquettes. And I'm happy to inform you, sir, that Khaja Bandanawaz University has also made soft skills as a part of its curriculum for post-graduation courses.
Right, right. Very important. Very, very important dimension.
So we have a question, and it's from Sayyid Ejaz, who's from Gulbarga.
Yeah.
He says, how to make our passion our career?
Yeah, if you just have passion, that becomes the career. You don't have to do anything. Okay, because for every creation, passion has been the source. There is no creation without passion. Absolutely. You just follow your passion, give into your passion. Look for avenues that the passion will take you through. Okay, you don't have to do much. The issue that we face is we don't have a passion. Like I mentioned in my message in the earlier slides, we think things are automatic. It is not like that. If you have a passion and you have identified that, that itself is a breakthrough for you.
Right.
That is enough.
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll pass on the co-host to Jilani, sir. So please go ahead.
There is some questions coming privately. I'm not sure if you are able to see it, Ali. One sister has asked, how much does communication skill play in getting job? Communication is everything, sister. Communication is everything. You know, what ideas you have to share it in a way it has to be shared, the type of friendship you create, the type of teamwork you create, the amount of communication that you have gained in writing emails that are effective, even in applying a job, you know, the cover letter, the making your resume, everything. Yeah, communication is the fundamental spine of life itself. We got to be the best. How much ever we have done in communication, that much it is less. Communication is everything. Being a teacher, how can I help student in getting a job other than teaching is a question. Ma'am, I think, you know, like I said, every career has been touched and blessed by a teacher. So it is important that, you know, you just be present to the type of passion that you can help him identify. The area of interest that you can help him identify and let him take the direction. Whatever direction he takes doesn't matter. Whatever trade that he wants to address doesn't matter. Okay. People fail because they have not identified the areas of their passion. Okay. Passion is everything. Passion is the basis of creation. So jobs can be created, careers can be created. Identifying passion is very important. So as a teacher, we can be just supportive to help find a passion for a person, in my opinion. Being a staff, can we share some of our failures to students, or it is not a good? So there's a.
Sir, we are unable to hear you. Please unmute.
Okay. So a nice question. Being a teacher, can I share the, what is that? So can we share some of our failures to the students, or is it a good habit to share with the students? There are questions connected to each other's. One of the character traits of being a good teacher is to be very honest. Very honest. Share, you know, the areas that we have failed. When you take up coaching, then people actually use their failures as an example, which is very effective when they coach people. Okay, so sharing that in a way that the lesson learned is connected, and then say that I did this, you don't do it. I experienced negativity. having done something, you don't do it, the respectability that you will gain with this occasion is going to be immense, in my experience. I have done it myself several occasions, and I have found myself very effective in connecting to people. Honesty and authenticity is a character trait of a good teacher. Keep up to it, and you'll experience that yourself. There is a question asked that the students pursue their studies in one branch of engineering, which is mechanical, and later on other branches of IT field. What about this, sir? See, again, when it comes back to the passion, people just go with, what pays us more. Okay, and they have examples of their neighbors, or one of their cousins, etc. He took up certain course, and you also do certain course. He is getting 1 lakh salary, so you will also get 1 lakh salary. Believe me, this is not going to be what it is. The person who's got 1 lakh salary is a different person. It's a different life altogether. He has a different experiences, different thought processes, etc. His life is different, and this person's life is different. Okay, what pays us is how much of intentionality we bring to the job we've done. Okay, money follows. Money is a secondary component. The first thing what has to be done is the best of the intentions and putting your passion through any job that you've got, and the doors of finance will open up in some way or the other. Finding passion and finding happiness in what you're doing is the most important criteria. People shift the domains. I've seen people who have completed their mechanical engineering totally and then done a software course and then taken up that as a career. Somewhere they are getting the money that they want, but the happiness misses out. You have to decide whether you have to be happy or you have to get money. Okay, you will get both for sure, but if you pursue the passion. But if you're going behind money, you might get the money, but happiness, I cannot guarantee you that. I have seen a lot of people who have complained saying, I took this up because, I thought there's money, but now I have the money, I'm not happy in my job. Okay. I was addressing a college, Bangalore Institute of Technology, my own college. I was talking to about 220 students. Okay, and when I opened the session, I asked everybody, I congratulated them for being a part of this final year, and the next year they are going to be graduate engineers. And I said, I asked them to raise a hand saying who wanted to be mechanical engineers, and you are here. So everybody, raised their hand. So I twisted the question. I said, who did not want to be mechanical engineers, and you're here? 2 hands went up. I walked up to them and asked them, why do you think that you are here? What made you be here when you didn't want to be here? He said, it was because of my uncle. My uncle I wanted to be a medical doctor. My uncle influenced my dad because his son went to the US, and my dad also wanted me to go to the US, and he was a mechanical engineer. I also he wanted me to be a mechanical engineer. So these are some things which, and you know what he said? He said, given a chance, I want to become a doctor, sir. He said, already he's in the final year. He's in the 7th semester. So these things are, very negative things, so that's why I say that when you have a passion to do something, you will find the destination that you want. Anything that you want to be, you will be. Okay. Pursue your passion, and you will see that the doors will be opening up.
Thank you so much, Mahmood sir. It was really, really nice listening to you. We'll stop taking questions. And before I sign off, I would like to thank you for such an insightful webinar. And I'm sure all the participants have learned many things, many new things, and it's really informative in each and every aspect. And I thank Mahmood Ashraf sir on behalf of the entire fraternity of Khaja Bandanawaz University and the organizing team, Dr. Usar Fatima ma'am and her team for this wonderful webinar. So I hope you all had a great webinar. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And before I wind up, I'll pass on the webinar to Jilani sir. You would like to speak something? Please go ahead, Jilani sir. So please unmute yourself, sir. We are not able to hear you. Please unmute. Jilani, sir, over to you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Now we are able to hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mahmood Ashraf.
Thank you, sir.
Quickly, I have just put on few points which I thought I need to share.
Sure, sir.
I request all the students to spend time in library with professors, read, Google, and research. Of late, we find engineers who do not know the fundamentals, who do not know even the best of the names or the authors of the subjects. If you say you love digital electronics, you need to know the best of the authors of the books. You fail in interviews because you love the subject, but you don't know the best of the authors. Very basic questions they are not able to answer. Spend time in understanding what subject you like. You need to have something very, very, very creative to talk in your interview. So spend time in your library, spend time with professors, spend time reading. Why I'm insisting this is we don't find students in library, we don't find students around professors asking for queries, we don't find students who are reading. The reading habits are over because the greatest WhatsApp university has come and we forget about reading. And Google is there, it has positives and negatives. You Google for research, don't Google and divert into other things. So the best thing is the professors are your Google. Now, success is directly proportional to time you spend on learning the subject. Let's understand what Mahmood sir said now is your grades are really, really, really important. I was a business head to a company called Globalex. We had a cutoff of 70%. Excellent interview, excellent technical skills, 69.5, not eligible. That's where that 0.5% the student would have got if he had spent at least 1 day or 6 hours extra of study. So success is directly proportional to the time you spend on learning the subject. Please put your time towards the best use of understanding the subject. Now, the third thing is do mistakes. Don't stop thinking that they will scold us or something is wrong with us. No, do mistakes. Experiment them. Do wrongs at lab. Don't get scared or worried about any professor. No problem. You commit a mistake, go and tell him, I did a mistake, I want to learn. Every time you do a mistake and you correct it, that is embedded in your brain for life. I can clearly tell in which experiment, which circuit I had burnt, and I know the reason of burning the circuit even today, why it has gone in. So your mistakes will embed the right things in your life. Get ready to be booed, to be called crazy and stupid. Professors may chase you out.
Yeah,
Friends may tell, "Arey yaar, pagal hai kya tu?" No problem. Get crazy.
absolutely.
Only when you get crazy, you can come out with something really, really wonderful in your learning. Now, hands-on, get into the workshop hands-on, dirty your hands. Put your coding if you are in computer science. Put on your circuitry if you are in electronics. Go to your workshops and lathes if you are in mechanical. Dirty your hands. Design thinking has to come in. Empathy of the subject and experimenting has to come in. Until you don't feel the subject and the experimentation, you cannot sit in an interview and comfortably talk. The confidence level in the interview when you're sitting comes when you have a mastery in your subject. Even if I have 5% less marks, but if I have hands on, I can answer every damn thing in the interview. So get hands on, go to the workshop, dirty your hands, go to the lab, sit with professors. Now, one more thing I just want to put across in the last is learn to excel with constraints. All the time, the complaint is we don't have software, we don't have this book, we don't have a professor, we don't have this machine, all this becomes a story once your certificate of engineering comes out. In the engineering certificate, it is not mentioned on the top. Probably whoever it is, Ashraf or Jilani, they did not pass because there were no textbooks. Mr. Khan did not pass because he did not attend to the lab. Those things will not be written. Your mark sheet is your face. To see that, you need to build under constraints. Constraints of books, constraints of professors, constraints of subjects. Don't give reasons. Why? Because this builds excellent world-class engineers and professionals. Because in real life, when we go to work, you will not get everything. You will absolutely not get everything. You will get only limited resources. They will tell within this many hours you have to complete this, or you have only this team size, you have to complete this, or you have this much of material, you have to complete this. So lifelong till we die, we have to live in constraints. So get experimenting under constraints now. Build your skills to work under constraints. Do you think today me or you or whoever it is are having enough resources? No, we have constraints. And I'm sorry, there's a spelling mistake of constraints which I have written there. It's a typo error. I just typed it just now. Fine. If I'm right, I would request all the students to learn to excel with constraints. If you don't live with constraints, if you don't learn in your jobs, in your professions as engineers, you will be great failures. So I think today's session was an eye-opener for you. Now, as we move on, we will bring in more of HR heads of companies who will recruit you. Now, in our next session there will be someone who will come from the HR head who is in the recruiting stage. He will give you what is required for an engineer of various trades to get into a company or in the industry. Probably we will have someone from manufacturing and we will have someone from IT also. So we will be bringing in each one, head of a manufacturing, head of IT, head of services. We will bring all these people on board to give you enough information. So with this, I thank and I request the moderator to take over.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your inputs, Jilani sir. Participants, please, you can also find the feedback form. It's given in the chat box. You can fill the feedback form. And I think we are at the end of this webinar now. So I would like to conclude. I would like to thank all the participants who attended this webinar. Speaker for today, Mahmood sir, and the organizing team once again. I wish you have a great weekend. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The feedback form has been posted in the chat box. Kindly go to it so that the e-certificates can be generated. See to it that the right email ID is being mentioned, because your e-certificates will be directly sent to the mail ID that has been registered. Thank you, Mahmood sir. Thank you, Jilani sir. Thank you, Mr. Ali, for cooperating with us, for making this webinar a great success. Hope to be in touch with you all again.
Sure. It's been a pleasure. And
have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.